All right, mates, welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well. Beginning to kick off the beginning of the week, I wanted to hop on really quickly and show you this. For those of you who don't know, because I had a couple messages over the weekend, a lot of people are unfamiliar with it. So you can go on your Fishing Chaos app. For this event, you can be a boater, wade fishing, I think, kayak fishing, and all that on Fishing Chaos. Okay, so keep that in mind. Some confusion on that, I think. But you want to go on fishingchaos.com. Or if you're on your phone, download the app for Fishing Chaos. Fishing Chaos is an app for catch, photo, release. I know most of the viewership and the audience are familiar with that. However, we've gotten so many more new followers on Facebook in the last month, and on TikTok, that there's a lot of new people coming into following this platform. So I want to make sure, I was kind of like want to go back and make sure that I'm not talking, above people. Okay. So we go on to Fishing Chaos, your Google Play Store, whatever you got, your iPhone, for your apps, Fishing Chaos, download that app. When you open that app, you can hit the Tournament Trail Club tab. And the tournament will come up under tournaments. And then right now it's a featured at the top of the line because it's just starting at the beginning of the month. And it's called the Smash Series Digital Challenge 2, started June 1st, just the other day, and runs until the end of the month. So you want to click on that. And again, this is a free, online tournament for you. For all of you out there that are like new to catch, photo, release, or kind of you're on the boating side and you kind of want to know what this is all, what's this catch, photo, release stuff all about? Like, we put stuff in our live well, we go to our weigh-in. I get that a lot. I'm going to get that a lot tomorrow on the Potomac with the Bass Nation guys, because I'm bipolar, because I fish out of a boat and fish from a kayak, and I wade fish, or tripolar. I do it all. And I don't just fish for largemouth, like a lot of people on YouTube, and a lot of people that, largemouth is probably the number one niche of bass fishing. I prefer to fish for smallies, and I prefer to fish for trout over going and fishing for necessarily largemouth bass all over the country. But I've got a great tidal fishery here in the DMV called the Potomac River that is awesome for largemouth bass, and we got a couple impoundments and reservoirs in the region that are great for largemouth, so we're blessed. And so predominantly we skew to smallmouth bass, and then we get in the trout during that time of season, and we do some catch cook, and we do some, New York trout, salmon run trips, things like that. But this is for everybody. And people are like, Jay, why are you going to bring this to our attention? I'm bringing this to your attention because Lose is part of Rather Outdoors, and a lot of people aren't familiar with Rather Outdoors, okay? Rather Outdoors is kind of like the umbrella of a whole bunch of brands that you are familiar with. Lose, Strike King, Zebco, okay? Those are the North American type brands that you are probably the most familiar with, that are in the Rather Outdoors kind of umbrella of brands, right? But they have a bunch of UK brands, European brands that you're probably less familiar with. And we're going to get into those, okay? Because we do have some followers on YouTube from Europe and from England, the UK especially, and that have brought a lot of this stuff to my attention. Hey, Jay, have you tried this? Have you seen these lures? Have you seen this line? Have you seen this stuff? Okay? And so we're going to introduce it to people. Got some stuff in the house right now from those companies, Fox Range, companies like that are part of Rather Outdoors. So that's what we're going to do. And so we're going to support those companies, right? So Lose and Strike King and Zebco, that you're going to find at your big box stores, and you're going to find online at all the fishing online stores. So check them out, okay? And they've partnered with Fishing Chaos, okay, for this free event challenge, the second challenge. They're going to have 4 of these challenges, okay? You also have Old Town sponsoring and Minn Kota, pretty much known brands in the States, right? So you can see here, it is a 6-1, so June 1st to June 30th tournament. The format is beat the Mach team, okay? The Mach team. People have submitted to become Mach team members for the regions, and you're actually competing against them, okay? So everybody is not necessarily competing against each other necessarily as much as they are competing against those guys, right? And so you've got in the Northeast. So and this is who you know. You know who when you go on the bottom, you're going to see who these guys are. Northeast, Andrew Norby. Southeast, Adam White. Central, Tyler Anderson. West, Juan Carlos. The big three, Noah. Pesatelli. Sorry, Noah. Top finisher from each region gets a $200 Mach gift card, $200 Lose gift card. That's basically a reel. Okay? Rod, reel. Right in the ballpark. 5 Mach combos, apparel, and more. Any competitor has 5 bass score longer than the Mach Nation creator assigned to their region gets to enter and win a $200 Lose gift card as well, and 2 Mach combos. Top 5 anglers from each region will be entered into the overall grand prize drawing for an Old Town Minn Kota kayak package. Okay? That's crazy. That's $4,000, mates. That's a $4,000 package, most likely. $3,500, $4,500 package, most likely. Lots of Mach gear. 2nd through 10th in each region receive a $100 Mach gift card and a $100 Lose gift card. Team Mach Nation bonus. Competitors who have applied and been accepted to Team Mach Nation. Okay? So like pro staff, in a sense, or ambassadors. Think of them more like ambassadors, okay? Prior to the start of the tournament, each category awarded a $25 gift card and entry into the year-end kayak giveaway by finishing in the top 25 of their respective regions. So, pretty easy to understand, straightforward, easy, okay? The regions are as follows, very unique here. And I say that with a qualifier, okay? Northeast is made up of Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, that's us, okay? PA, New York, New Jersey, Ohio, Delaware, Rhode Island. Why is that significant? Because you're not competing against the guys in Florida and Texas and Georgia and Louisiana, where those guys are pulling out 8-pound and 10-pound bass every day, okay, during the spring and summer, right? Right now, turn on the TV, turn on Bassmaster Elites down in Texas, turn on MLF, okay? You know what I'm talking about, all right? So you're not competing. So if you're in my area in the DMV, that's the district. That's not listed on here, but they would classify you as either Maryland or Virginia. You're going to be in the Northeast. You're going to be competing against pretty much like fishing environments in the Northeast from Maine down to Virginia at its southernmost point. And it should be that way. Now, not all events are that way. Tourney X events that are like this, for some reason, have Virginia in the Old South, right? That is an historical moniker that happens because of America's history, okay, i.e. the Civil War. But Virginia does not fish like any of those places. Virginia does not fish even like North Carolina. It's Southern brethren right on the border, okay? Virginia's climate, it's mild. Its climate is very, very similar, more similar to the Northeast than it is the South, okay? And so the fish respond. That's why Virginia DWR and all that stuff, or DNR, have tried to bring in Florida strain bass, okay? To get the bass to grow bigger, because our bass do not grow at the same rate. They're northern strains. They do not grow at the same rate as Florida strain bass that are scattered or Texas that are all through the South, okay? So you're not competing against those guys. That's why it's significant to me. Boater, kayak, whatever you want. Southeast, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Tennessee. Okay? Pretty solid. Central, you got the central states there. West, and then the big three. What are the big three? Of course, we know what the big three are, right? Florida, Texas, California. Big bass, big three. They're competing against each other. So they've been taken out. Smart. Very smart. Because the number one knock on Challenge Series for KBF is, ultimately, at the end of the day, right? Even though they're state-driven, when you get down towards the end, and maybe the ambassadors, getting to the ambassadors and all that stuff, it's California, okay? Texas, Florida, right? In terms of lengths and who's got the longest catches and all. You go on a Texas KBF, it's 100 inches every month. Florida, 100 inches almost every month, during the spring and summer and all that stuff. So that's what's unique about is, other than the fact it's the free event. And so you've got down here, where are the leaderboards at, Jay? Like, I don't know. So we're already, Mach Nation Northeast region, we're already over 100 inches. Of course, because it's been 90 degrees, 80 to 90 degrees in the Northeast, most of the Mid-Atlantic Northeast. For the last week and a half, it's been great, great weather. Rivers are down. Most people are moving to lakes and reservoirs, but you got guys scattered in all over the country. Troy Wines from Virginia right there at 95.75. So for Virginia is already holding its own, or at least Troy is already holding its own against people from Maryland all the way to Maine. And that's what you want. You want it to be an evenish type playing field. Southeast region. So Brian Verkernick is up at 101.5. Luke Coleman is at 100.25 in the Southeast. So right now, the Northeast is beating the Southeast, believe it or not. I mean, it's early. It's only a couple days into June. So keep that in mind. But you got a pretty awesome chance here of getting into the top 10. The top 10 right now is only 88 inches, okay? And you got Mach Nation Central regions at 102. And look at that, the big three, right? 113.75, 113.25, 105, 102, right? There's a reason why that's called the big three. So pretty cool. The West region is a little lower, 86.75. Mach Nation Rather, see that? Rather Outdoors. Mach Nation Rather Employees, 98. That's pretty cool. Biggest bass over Joe Scott, 24.25. One of the Scott boys, right? Across the country. God bless him. 24.25. And that's it, mates. That's the 2023 Mach Nation Summer Smash. One of 4 events that Mach Nation is doing this season on Fishing Chaos. Free event. Register for it up. Have a go. Learn how to register your fish. Catch, photo, release, right? Do all those things. Have some fun with your friends. Get your friends involved. Get them involved. Go out on a float. Go out on boating together. Go out. Have a little side pot like we got going this week on the Upper Potomac. Have a side pot going where 2 or 3 guys go out and you're also logging on, doing your catch, photo, release with your board, your catch board. I don't really think there's a requirement in this that you have to use a catch board. I think you'd probably use any board. But read the rules in pack for that. I did not get that far. I don't think that there would be. Catch is not a sponsor. I don't think of that like in other trails. But double check. If you have a catch board, you're going to be golden. That's pretty much the standard now. But you might have some other measuring device that is acceptable. And then obviously your weight. If you're in the boater and you're not using length, you want to make sure that's a lot easier to go ahead and grab one of those boards. That's probably the biggest impediment to a lot of boaters is a lot of boaters don't have catch boards, don't have boards because their mindset is weight. Okay. So just check the rules out, obviously before any event that you enter. But this one, especially for those little nuances right there, but it is open to you. It is open to everybody for, again, free. It runs until June 30th. Love to see how you guys do in it and folks from the region. And I'd really, really like to see a lot more folks from the region, whether it be the Southeast or the Northeast, do that and get involved in these events. I mean, so we see more of these events coming up, and then we'll look at it and we'll see, hey, look, man, like maybe we should do something regional. Maybe we should do something within like our own like challenges within our areas, right? With this in the same format to contribute to it. Because look, it's only 4 events this year, right? And so everyone's got all their little club trails. Everyone's got all these sponsors out there. Most people are unaware. A lot of stuff. So it'd be a great little way to bring people that fish different clubs together in a monthly event, right? That's free. And then obviously prizes from all of the sponsors that are already sponsoring these club trails can be involved in that. And it does a lot of crossover and does a lot of growth. And that's really what we're about. We want to see more people with a rod in their hand, right? We want to see more people out on the water. And we want to take kids fishing. And these little tournaments are perfect for you to take a kid fishing so they can be part of it, right? Be part of and being able to check on their phones, where their brother, where their dad, where their uncle, where their next door neighbor is, where they are at. because engagement is a huge, huge thing for fishing in terms of the joy of fishing now. And so get with your buddies, get with your coworkers, find out if your coworkers like, listen, you got me. I've got my autism dad shirt on today because I'm going to start doing more things for the autism community. Through my fishing endeavors, through my YouTube channel, through my Facebook, and through all that, through events and things like that, and working with sponsors and entities on that to contribute our bait maker community. Big bait maker auction coming up at the end of the summer, to end the summer, where bait makers basically get provided the blanks in which to create awesome crankbait patterns, whether it be crawl patterns, different kind of crawl patterns we got here going on that are perfect for summertime. Whether or not I just did a video, you can check that out. A short, here's a bluegill pattern, lipless crankbait, all this kind of stuff. Here's a smallmouth bass, lipless. Can't even get it out. Let's see if I can get this baby out for you. Of course not. She wants to be crazy. Here's a smallmouth bass. Right after the spawn, money bait, lipless crankbait, the low water conditions, bounce them off the rocks right now. Just all this kind of stuff. Here's a bass. Here's a bass crankbait. What I mean by bass, baby bass pattern. So all this stuff, it's come bringing people together for good causes, whether it be Heroes on the Water and veterans groups, or whether it be autism. We're going to do these things, okay? But this is a one we want to get people into. It's a free event with Mach Smash series from Mach Nation. Check out Luz, check out Zebco, check out Strike King, obviously. They're part of the Rather Outdoors family. You can find out what they're about. They're basically, like I said, scattered all over Academy and Bass Pro and, Fishing Online, Tackle Warehouse, Cabela's, you name it. They're in all those places for you to check out those brands, of course. But we're also still going to do what we're doing with our custom bait maker community and be able to provide them the blanks for the auction in order for them to do what they want to do and then submit their baits for the auction so people can grab their baits at the auction and get exposure for those bait makers and exposure for those baits and those artists and those designers. Because a lot of these custom bait makers flat out are artists. They are artists, okay? This isn't manufacture runs through a machine, okay? These are hand-painted. They take time, especially the swim baits. They take a lot of time, a lot of curing, a lot of all that in that process. And, to be able to get those in front of people in an auction setting where we have 100 or 200 of these crankbaits and swim baits that are all custom designed so people can take a look at them. And then in the run-up, we can feature them. We can feature every single lot of those crankbaits and swim baits and custom baits painted by the bait makers. We can focus on their companies and on their baits in the run-up to the final auction, so you kind of know what the lots are, and you kind of can write down like which ones you're really interested in, right? In that regard, so you kind of know to pay attention for those lots, and then we'll draw for those lots, right? Well, each lot will draw after you submit your entry into the auction. We will then draw the name, okay? And for each lot. And so you want to make sure you know which lots you're paying attention to. So when we list the lots and all the winners, you know which lots that you were really, really interested in winning. And then also you can always reach out and contact me. If you see a bait in a lot that's going to come up in the auction from one of the bait makers, and you want to know how to reach out to them, I want to put you in contact with that bait maker because you may just want to buy it retail. You may just want to I'm going to participate in the auction as well, Jay, but I really, really love that bait. I want to buy that from the retail. And then you could talk with the bait maker and they can decide whether or not after the auction, whether or not they want to paint you that same scheme. Maybe it's a standard paint. Maybe it's a standard design they have. I mean, here's a pretty standard design from the bait maker. And you can go on that maybe on the website and you could just buy it that way. But we hope that you will participate in the auction so that we can do some great things with our autism community and our veterans community. And so we're really, really looking forward to that. But I hope everybody gets on board with this Mach series, Summer Smash series by Mach Nation. And if you get into it, hit me up on Facebook. Let me know. Just let me know on Facebook Messenger, JL Scott Fishing and Eats, that you got into it so I can follow you and then I can highlight you on some of the videos when we do updates on the videos of where you are in the mix Especially if you're from our part of the country, it doesn't really matter who you are. If you're a follower, I'm going to highlight you and in your endeavors. If you're a follower of this channel and you are participating in a club, it does not matter to me where that club is. It does not have to be in my region. I will highlight your club and highlight you and get you out there in front of my audience and other people on social media and share it to groups and bass fishing groups and all that, so your club gets highlighted and you get highlighted, because it's a big deal, man. I mean, a lot of people put a lot of time and a lot of work into their fishing. And so when you finish in the top 3 or whatever of your club event, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to you. It's a big deal. It's a big deal to me, to celebrate you, okay? I don't think that's done enough. I really don't. I don't think clubs celebrate their anglers enough. I don't think that we in the community celebrate. I think we look at the pros constantly, and we kind of celebrate the pros who we may have never met or may never meet or never fish with in our life or never ever come in contact other than on social media. But our guys in our region who are accessible, you could fish with. Reach out, contact them. What are they doing? Meet them at the ramp. Pick their brain. Most of the people, 90% of the people are willing to share any kind of information with you. Okay, there's always the 10%. They're just closed off to it for whatever reason. But most people are open and accessible, in terms of meeting at the ramp and going out on the river and all that. At least it's been my experience. And again, Fishing Chaos, Mach Nation. If you just want to Google that too, you could probably figure it out that way. Mach Nation Summer Smash, and probably take you right to the app on Google. Click on Fishing Chaos. Download the app to your phone. You do not need to download really if you're on your laptop. You can just kind of take a look at it and go that and just register. Load up. You got to create a Fishing Chaos account, which is like your name, your phone number, your address, and all that stuff. Very simple. And then you could just register. You can see that here, register right there on the screen. You just click that, and you've already created your account. It will automatically put you into the queue for that event, and then you'll be able to follow that event throughout the whole month, and you'll be able to upload your photos through the app, as well as take your individual photos on your own camera roll, and also just make sure, please, that when you're doing these catch photo release events, that you have all your apps to allow for location services, iPhone, Android, whatever, so that when you take the picture of your fish, it logs your location, because that's how it's going to determine whether or not you're eligible to load that fish up. Meaning, if you can't be fishing in North Carolina and loading it in the Northeast event, okay? And so that's what that's for, okay? To make sure that you're in the right place, in eligible water, going to the specific tournament. Now, what I'm not sure and you want to look at is you may be able to do too. That's something I'm going to check out today, and I'll do an update on my Facebook page, JL Scott Fishing and Eats. So follow that page. About you may be able to register for both the Northeast, and if you live like in Virginia and you fish both in North Carolina and Virginia, you may be able to register in both. I'm gonna make a call, or I'll get that information out on Facebook in the next 24 hours or so, once I get that information either from Fishing Chaos or from the sponsors of the tournament and Mach Nation. Okay, hope everybody has a great day. Enjoy your week. Please like and subscribe to the channel here on YouTube, or if you're watching this on any other platform like TikTok or Facebook, make sure you give us a follow, give us a like, so we kind of know where you are, where you're from, and you can participate in our giveaways. Our monthly giveaways have been kind of fun. To be able to give baits and rods, baits and apparel, and we've got whole brand new apparel coming. Hopefully she should be here probably by July, hopefully the 4th of July, maybe the middle of July, with our new hoodie line, new sweatshirts, new shirts, all that stuff for Fish Different, the Smallmouth Army, Smallie Chasers. So if you're into smallmouth bass fishing, you know what I'm talking about. You're going to want one of these. You're going to want one of these, either the hat or hoodie or sweatshirt or something like that. And then predominant portion of the proceeds from our those kinds of things, the swag. Again, we want to work with our community and charities in our region to support that. All right, mates. Hope everybody has a great day. I will see you next.